Welcome back to Profiles in Caring and our story on the TurtleWill Foundation. And it's time now to see what Irma Turtle and her mobile clinics are actually doing to help the nomadic tribes in Africa. Here again, Doug Jardine.
Yeah, it's all 250 amoxicillin.
To the nomadic people, Irma Turtle carries the name of Isu. She is, simply stated, a woman that gets things done and in a manner very important to these nomadic peoples that does not hinder or in any way at all threaten their generations and generations of tradition. Her focus is the peoples in the remote bush with little recourse to medical, economic, or educational aid, who are most often ignored by their own governments and who are reached by the world's major humanitarian organizations only in times of national catastrophes.
My initial being drawn to them, as you put it, is that their lifestyles absolutely fascinate me. I am really truly fascinated by people who can live with so little, who live out in the vast open, can pack up in 2 hours and move. But it goes beyond that. Their rituals, their traditions, their cultures are very interesting to me. The reason for helping them, though, is because they get no help from anybody else. I mean, even in the times of national disasters, when there's a worldwide emergency, they might get some relief.
The people here are very poor. There are ones who, even when they are ill, cannot go to a town or health center for a medical consultation because they cannot pay for the transportation. And there are also people who, even if there is a dispensary nearby in the bush, and they can get there easily, they do not go because they do not have the money to pay for the medicines, which are not free.
On the ground was this tiny child who was breathing really deeply. She was clearly very ill. And the family said to me, "Can you help? Can you help? She's so sick." All I could do was say, "Okay, here's the malaria medicine. Put her on it now. And if by the time the sun goes down she's not any better, put her on the pneumonia medicine." And then we left. And I never knew if that child lived or died. And that so frustrated me and saddened me at my inability to help in a more concrete way, that I said to myself, well, clearly the only solution is to be trained to be a nurse in Africa. And I got myself trained.
So with the training, dedication to the people, and commitment for making a difference for good here, Irma set out to raise money to bring health care to the people. In the form of traveling or mobile clinics, Irma and her team of volunteers provide these nomadic peoples of the sub-Sahara on-site health care and on-site caring.
The three major killer diseases in Africa are malaria, respiratory infections, and parasitic infections. We go into the remote areas with our doctors and nurses, and sometimes with volunteers, and we set up our tent and we wait for the nomads to come, and we treat whoever comes. And often we're at sites for 2 days because the word has to travel. We can treat sometimes up to 450 people in a day with 2 or 3 doctors working. And usually by the end of a 2-week program with volunteers, or a 12-day program when TurtleWill simply hires the local doctors and nurses and sends them out into the bush, we can treat 2,000 to 3,000 people in a 2-week period. I mean, that's where the numbers come from, over 50,000 people that we've treated.
Our people are extremely fortunate to receive TurtleWill's medical treatment. Before the arrival of TurtleWill's mobile clinics, the state of health in our zones was poor. In fact, even well below the level it should be, because the medical centers are so far away.
Before at the clinics, there were people who were very, very sick. A lot of anemia, fever, above all malaria. Now the people are healthy. Now there are fewer cases of anemia, less fever, diarrhea, especially less diarrhea and parasites, and less skin conditions also.
Thanks to TurtleWill, malaria is really under control here at Tamazalak, Mizen, and Carifo. In the mobile clinics, in addition to the medical care provided by our doctors and nurses, Irma has integrated a mobile educational program to address the many problems we encounter, especially related to women's health, maternal, and infant care. Every time we hold a clinic, we also always hold our educational programs throughout the day.
But what we do is now we systematically deworm everybody. We systematically give everybody multivitamins. We systematically have treatment for pregnant women too, because the people that we're treating have no other recourse. If I find out that there's a clinic nearby now to a given area where we've been working, then I will stop going there for 2 reasons. I don't want to interfere with the government's work. The government is doing its best to provide medicines. And I don't want to teach the people bad habits, which is to say that they wait and wait and wait until we come by or come back, and they never know when we're coming back, to wait for our free medicines.
But the work of Irma Turtle and her TurtleWill Foundation goes much beyond medical care. We enter the classrooms, many here because of Irma, and learn about food cooperatives which teach women to be business smart when Profiles in Caring comes back.